Look at Joe Biden, it's bedlam. You have a man who can't lead. You have a man who can't find his way off a stage after he makes a speech that lasts for about 2 minutes. They have chaos at the border. They have chaos in the military. People are going woke. He can't put two sentences together, and he's representing us on nuclear weapons with Putin and Xi. You like Ron DeSantis, but he wouldn't even be around today. He'd be working in a pizza shop or perhaps a law firm if I didn't endorse him. The biggest fan of Dr. Fauci was Ron DeSanctimonious. He was a big fan. He said, I go by, exactly, quote, I go by what Dr. Fauci said. She doesn't have what it takes. She'll be creamed in the election. And, I mean, I know her very well, and I happen to believe that Chris Christie's right. That's one of the few things he's been right about, actually.
All right. President Trump unloading last night. Kaylee, what do you make of it?
Well, it was really interesting to flip back and forth between his town hall and then the debate between Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis, because Trump actually came off across as the cool, composed, and collected one. If you watch the screaming match between DeSantis and Haley, which did nothing except solidify that this is a primary for second place, it came across as honestly a bit immature on both of their ends. And the thing that Trump kept hitting home is obviously he got a few jabs in against his primary opponents, but the number one name that he kept repeating over and over again was Joe Biden. He understands that this is a referendum on Joe Biden and his failed agenda. That's how he's running this campaign. And the one message that he made very clear to the town hall members last night was that his agenda worked. 4 years ago, they were better off than they are now. And I think that message really resounds. And maybe there would have been an argument for DeSantis or Haley if the polls showed that Trump was struggling against Biden. But that's not the case anymore. You look at a recent poll that came out this week in my home state of Michigan, Trump is up above Biden 47% to 39%. That's a significant swing from 2020. So really, what is the argument against Trump at this point?
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that. Of course I do. But the fact of the matter is, it's absolutely true. He was at that, the town hall. He was composed. He was focused on his answers. He did a few little jabs inside there. He didn't really go bombastic, a little self-deprecating. But the fact of the matter is, he was bringing up Joe Biden every single time. He wasn't really delving on Nikki Haley other than a few slights. He wasn't really talking about Ron DeSanctimonious other than a couple of slights. But after he did that, he went straight for Joe Biden because he knows this is a referendum. Bring up what he did, his highlights of his 4 years. And I think that's what he needs to concentrate on, folks. Just concentrate on what you did, what it was like under your thing, both on the domestic side, the international side, from energy, from trade, from jobs, from the tax cuts, to the Abraham Accords, to the Mideast. Focus on that. Stay away from the election stuff. We all know about that. Let's not relitigate that. Let's just focus on the things that were good. Gas prices down, energy prices down, oil prices down. Okay, inflation was down, prices were down. America #1 in the world, biggest importer of energy, finally, to all across the world. All of these things, safe, secure, all of these things. Focus on them. Focus, focus, focus. Anyways, let's continue.
First of all, Pizza Hut in California pays $19 an hour. One of my buddies sent that over to me. Now, I know Ron DeSantis is in Florida, so, maybe it doesn't pay 19 bucks an hour in Florida.
We'll be neighbors with Gavin Newsom.
I thought Trump did a great job. And two of his strongest points. Number one, when he said that he was not going to seek retribution and reverse weaponize the DOJ, I thought that was a strong moment. He got some loud applause for that. We need to stop this. We cannot continue to go back and forth, tit for tat, and continue to weaponize the DOJ one way or another. So I'm glad he said that. Yeah. The second thing that he said, and I don't know that he did the best job explaining it, but he explained what he did from a stimulus standpoint when COVID hit us. And The problem with COVID is all the governors shut down small businesses. They said you can't open your doors, you got to shut down. So the solution to fixing that problem was to give businesses enough money, the money that they were losing out in revenue, so they could continue to make payroll. Once you were insured, the businesses had the money and they could make payroll, there was no need to drop $10, $12, $15,000 in a consumer's lap. That is what led to inflation, was the massive amount of fiscal stimulus paid to consumers.
And we wonder if that COVID money sort of allowed the economy to appear stronger than it actually was. Because now, this morning, you know, we're talking about, well, where's the COVID money now? Jamie Dimon, in my interview this week, said the COVID money is running out this week, this year, rather, pardon me. And as a result, we could actually tip into recession. Another thing to note, Mike, is in Iowa last night, former President Trump hinted at his running mate. Here's what he said.
Who would be in the running for vice president?
Well, I can't tell you that, really. I mean, I know who it's going to be.
Give us a hint.
I'll give you, we'll do another show sometime.
Well, what about any of the people who you've run against? Would you be open to mending fences with any of them?
I will. I've already started like Christie better.
Christie for vice president?
I don't see it. I don't see it. That would be an upset. Christie for vice president.
You know,
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to announce. Now,
So he said he knows who it is, Mike, but he's not telling us.
Yeah, you know, I've heard rumors about the short list include Kristi Noem. My favorite for him would be Ben Carson, more so because of his style. If you think about Trump as a more bombastic type character, just like Mike Pence was, a lot more even-keeled, a lot more articulate in the way that he expressed things, Ben Carson would be that pick. And since the Iowa caucuses 8 years ago, when Ted Cruz did the robocall to try to convince everybody that Ben Carson had dropped out, which allowed Ted Cruz to win that. Ben Carson has been firmly on Team Trump. You didn't have any problems with him in the last administration. You can see the real difference in this campaign and how this Team Trump has been running now. There's no leaks. Right? It is a tight team of people that believe in the agenda versus people like, say, Nikki Haley, who cozied up to him just to undercut him at every step of the way.
Wow.
So it's a lot of reasons to be a lot more enthusiastic about Trump this time around.
Yeah, it's.
That is so true. That is so true. And what Donald Trump needs to do is get that inner group that he was with before. Some of family, some of friends, they need to go. But like, lean on Eric, lean on Don Jr. I'm not so sure about Jared Kushner. I don't know enough about that. But then again, you hear so many things and you're wondering, okay, what's true, what's not true. But don't go ahead and make those same mistakes as before. Try to find somebody within your sphere of influence who you know and you can trust, that is absolutely 1,000% loyal to you. And then work on those points. Utilize a social media strategy. Go back to that data center point that was being worked on in 2016. Utilize every single stratagem that is out there. Stay on point. Focus on what you did in 2016 to 2020 during your thing. Stay away from the election as much as possible of 2020. Focus on Joe Biden, highlight his ineptness, highlight everything about, I would even suggest, let the Hunter thing just run every once in a while, just say a few things, be sort of, make some jokes or something about it, but don't just spend that inordinate amount of time on that. And continue to do your Trump rallies. That is what's going to do. And find out those areas of the country where you can go inside, hit those 7 or 8 swing states. And I would even suggest a few, even in some of the states where, you're like California, New York, places that are bluer than blue. And just go in there and do it the way that you do it, President Trump. That would be my suggestion. Anyways, we appreciate you taking the time to